On this week's episode of the Chit Chat, we'll be introducing newcomer Colin Brown, have a discussion about spoilers, and a spoiler discussion about the new movie Us. That's right, people. These spoilers are running wild.
Stop humming, okay? This isn't accounting or wherever the hell you and your little pocket calculator were transferred from.
Forensic accounting. Okay, and it's an important part of the job.
Yeah, whatever. Stop being so overtly happy about doing shit work, you moron.
Hey guys, reminder, the police union picnic's coming up this weekend. My wife's making her famous deviled eggs again. My waistline's furious.
It's a bad time, Bob.
whatever it is.
She was gonna pop up here, but she had like a wicked ass migraine. And I was like, you're just gonna be sitting in a corner being quiet. So
Exactly.
It
It ain't gonna be fun, right? No. Exactly. Yes. Are you sure, babe? You don't want to come here?
She's like, I really want to come up. I'm like, you think you do. And like the car ride might be great, and yeah, you'll probably get some Jimmy Johns out of it. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, you probably don't.
Well, okay, so I've had people actually sit in on podcasts before, and I think it's been a little fun for me. I usually like to bring them on, let them say like one or two things, then I tell them to get back in the corner, shut the fuck up.
right.
Just put the shackles back on.
The Corey Coleman approach.
Exactly right. Our mentor, yeah.
You need to send him some episodes of this. Maybe we can get on Double Toasted.
That'd be
as like a fan show.
There we come with my my thoughts on my life, and it's like it ain't that good.
So your plan is Atlanta right now. If Corey Coleman said, "Hey, we will hire you and your white friend to do a podcast for us, but you have to move to Austin," would you do it?
So fast.
Cool. All right. Let's make
fast.
Let's make that the goal then.
I mean, be honest. I love Austin.
I've never been, but I really want to go.
I went that one time. Yeah. It's great.
Right.
It's a great place. It's expensive. I would live outside of Austin. Right. But I love to go there.
Hell yeah.
Love to go there again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no, the plan, I think me and my girlfriend want to go down there not this summer, but next summer to visit and go to a show.
And you should.
And walk around, because that's kind of our backup, like, oh shit, California is way more expensive than we thought it was. So we're going to do Austin.
Nobody needs to go to California.
Well, so my plan right now is go to California, make a shit ton of money, like California money, which a shit ton of California money. Well, not a shit ton of California money. Average California money.
But a shit
like
ton of over here
middle class California money.
Yeah.
To move back here or to Texas, where that will be like a fuck ton of Texas money.
Right.
I can buy a mansion. And they'll be like, "What did you do to get all this money?" I'd be like, "I worked at Starbucks, dude." I just waited.
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Inflation is crazy.
Yeah, it's like $45 an hour over there.
Have you ever washed Morgan Freeman's car? Like he pays you
right
in $100, like Andrew Jackson's all day. But now we've already started a whole podcast.
Oh shit!
And welcome to the Chit Chat.
Hey,
episode 5.
My name's Colin. It's me, your boy.
It's not usually how I do this, but I mean, it's such a good conversation. Why stop it, right?
Trailblazing, yeah.
But no, this is the Chit Chat, and as you know, we chit and we chat, and it's going so good so far that I hate that I ruined it by trying to actually make this into an actual show.
That's not good. You got to let people know what bullshit they're listening to at some point.
Exactly.
It makes sense. Yeah.
They're like, is this a cooking podcast or is this?
It can be. Hey, Chit Chat's very vague. It could be anything to your heart's content.
So one of our hosts that were on the first show, Kyle, his wife actually, she was in the room where we were talking about the name or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I'm bringing podcasts back because we've done podcasts before, right. Whole SoundCloud thing, it went good, but schedules and all that stuff. Right. And I was like, nah, I want to do podcasts again. I have this mixer board right here. Yeah. I want to do something with it, so I want to bring it back. So I'm like, the Chit Chat. It's vague, but it is a conversational podcast. It can be about any subject.
You're not weighed down to one thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, it's a good name. You guys just aren't what I see when I hear the Chit Chat.
I think when you hear Chit Chat, you think of white guy in his like mid-30s who's definitely wearing some sort of sweater vest and has a pipe and is like, today we're going to talk about War and Peace and the intricacies of what he was trying to say with the novel.
That almost sounds like thoughts for your thoughts.
Thoughts for your thoughts. I could work for NPR.
I could. I think you honestly could.
Yeah. I should just go in just with an audio file of me just spouting all sorts of nonsense, but doing it kind of like an ASMR video. Being like, yes, I could talk about how the Saudis are at war over oil prices. I think that would be very good.
And then you need to scratch the mic a little bit.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll have like those little like little gel beads that you can get.
Oh,
that you move
you
around.
mean like this?
Fuck yeah, dude. That's
Yeah.
almost like I planned that. I didn't. Hi, welcome to Colin's Spa. This is
Is that getting on your hand? Because they're like holes.
Why didn't you tell me that before? Jesus Christ. Well, it didn't get on my hands, but
I didn't know you were gonna just go. You just went
so
for it.
like, so when she said like, "Hey, I didn't think that you didn't strike me as someone that would have a show called the Chit Chat," did you just pick those shower beads up and go, "Really?" I didn't.
I think I had those after we had that conversation because I saw him. Hey, look, okay, so
That's very convenient.
So I work out in here, right? And sometimes it gets, you know how it is. You go to the gym, and I have people over, and I can't just have it just be smelling like Trey's ass. That's not how.
True.
That's not how you work. So I got these from Dollar General. I mean, they're
that
$1.
makes sense.
And
No, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
I'm a fucking animal. My room just smells bad. That's I still live like a high schooler.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair because you don't you don't have this be a room where your actors and actresses stay here.
No one's ever in there.
Exactly. That's your personal space.
And my cats.
Exactly.
And my cats smell worse than I do.
And they don't judge.
They don't give a fuck.
As long as you feed them and pay them their proper respect.
I'm good to say naughty words on here, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Hell yeah.
If and I've actually gone back and forth.
Right.
On this entire show, like when we come back, do we want to be completely like G-rated, bleep
That's
out the
fun.
words, but
if honestly, you're on the radio, like radio, then like sure, but like it's the internet.
It's the internet.
Who cares?
And we don't have I was wondering if that holds us back from views. You know what I mean?
I doubt it. I mean, maybe. I don't know. PewDiePie was the most subscribed on, and he talked about all sorts of naughty things.
Man, don't even get me started on that because all he did is yell. Yeah. And there was no streaming. There was just a stream of consciousness on his streams, videos, or whatever you call them.
I don't know. I have conflicting thoughts on him. I don't dislike him as much as I dislike people like Logan Paul.
Also horrible.
He's just terrible across the board. I don't know. PewDiePie I go back and forth on. I don't know why people still get pissed at him because he's not really relevant anymore. Yeah. That's what kind of confuses me.
I haven't heard anything about him in a while.
Not as relevant as the merch on DT merch. No, I'm kidding. See, this is where you send it to Corey and go,
hey, we're spreading the good word.
Yeah, we're spreading the toasty goodness. Go check out Double Toasted.
All over my body. All right. But no, so we actually do have actual topics of conversation.
Hell yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
But so our topic of conversation is honestly where I've been at, and just recently coming off. So later on, we're going to talk about Us.
Yes.
Right. We're going to talk about the new Jordan Peele movie and watching that movie. And just so you know, people, it will be spoiler filled. So we will go into details and information and things. So you probably want to leave at that point. We'll probably explain that to you beforehand, but just letting you know now. But so in our business, I mean, we're two guys who keep up with movie news, video game news, things of that nature. And I've come to the thought, and this isn't like a revolutionary thought, but these articles, the world that we live in and the time that we live in with these articles that we have, I think they're starting to get in the way of my enjoyment of movies. And I think it's not their fault because they have to keep up with the news, but they have to, put out the news, but I know it's probably my own fault. I could keep away from it, but us, we're kind of conversationalists, so I feel like it's our job to keep up with that sometimes and make conversation about that, and like we are now, right? But it's just when it comes to movies, like for a specific example, Mission Impossible Fallout,
right?
I think would have been. I mean, from the trailer, you can't tell. And spoilers for Mission Impossible Fallout, but you can't tell that Henry Cavill's the bad guy. Right? And the way that they set that up.
It seems like they're going to be at odds, but then maybe team up.
That is the whole thing the trailer tries to get you across. But if you read articles, you hear about, oh, well, Henry Cavill had to shave didn't want to shave his mustache for Justice League because he wanted to be because he's the bad guy in Mission Impossible Fallout, which just blatantly here's some set pics of Henry Cavill in Mission Impossible punching the shit out of Tom Cruise.
Frankly, like, people were all shocked that Henry Cavill left the role of Superman, but I was like, honestly, as soon as he prioritized what his fucking face looked like in a Mission Impossible movie over Justice League, I think people should have gotten the point that
that ship has sailed.
Yeah. Which is why from now on we have a strict no DCEU clause in this shit. I'm kidding. Go on.
But no, I mean, and that's my point. And then another example being Kingsman.
Yeah. Which
the trailer gave that away. And I think was a good move of their part because the articles are giving it away who still, casted and things like IMDb also as well.
Well, and frankly, with a situation like that where I think a good part of the first movie's success was how cool Colin Firth's character was. I think it's kind of hard to not bring him back. So I think that was one of those situations where it was kind of like, all right, yes, this is a sequel. The dude you really liked in the first one is because obviously Samuel L. Jackson's like, spoilers. Honestly, at this point, if you haven't turned off the show because of spoilers, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Obviously, he's not coming back.
Right.
And I like Taron Egerton a lot, and I like him in Kingsman, but he fulfills a very specific role in those movies that I don't think is necessarily bringing people back. Now, if Rocket Man blows up, they might let him do more in the next one, which I think they're doing a third one. I think they're doing
the third one is a prequel, though.
See, I heard they were doing a third one and a prequel. I heard they were making a little Kingsman cinematic universe.
Well, that would be cool.
I'd be down. I actually liked the second Kingsman.
I did too.
People shit all over it, but I liked it.
But no, they would done that shit all.
Right, but back to Kingsman 2, I think you kind of had to show that he was going to be back, because if you don't bring him back, it just raises a whole lot of issues as far as casting. Because, I mean, then you just have Taron Egerton in the first one. And it's
well, they had everybody else. I mean, they had Channing Tatum, which is a pretty... was a pretty big name to draw buzz around the second one.
But, like, not in the movie a whole lot.
No, not at all.
A lot of those new people they brought in were kind of bit parts. Because what's his face too?
I can't remember the dude that, again, spoilers.
The dude from The Big Lebowski.
Oh, you mean Jeff Bridges?
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah,
he was in there, right?
Yeah,
he was the leader. Yeah. He wasn't in it all that much.
No,
Pedro Pascal, who was, spoilers, the bad guy.
Take a drink every time we say spoilers.
He was in it a lot, and I was kind of bummed they made him the bad guy because he's one of my favorite actors that doesn't get enough fucking work.
I don't even. That was the first thing I think I've seen him in.
Really?
I think
he was one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones.
See, I don't watch Game of Thrones, and
Are you
everybody
is
Game
coming. Of Thrones?
At this point, probably not.
Because spoilers for Game of Thrones. He was like, they introduced him, and he was really fucking cool and suave, and like had this cool ass like spear that he would like do shit with.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I fucking love this dude, and he was like a good guy. Like, in that show, like, no one's a good guy. And, I mean, he's still kind of like a smarmy asshole, but he's a good guy. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. And he fights the Mountain, who's just this big motherfucker.
I've heard about this Mountain.
And played by the world's strongest man, half Thor Bjornsson, just a big fucking dude. I only know that because I started lifting weights recently. And they're fighting for, like, this shit that happens. I won't go into all that. But he's fucking kicking the shit out of the Mountain. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. And then he gets fucking cocky. Fucking Mountain pins him down and crushes his head. He was like my favorite character, and that he was like 4 episodes in. I was like, this dude's gonna be my favorite. No, he's fucking dead. No, I'm sorry.
But that's what I hear about that show, is that the second you love a person, chopping block.
Not necessarily. I would say the real fan favorite characters, like the ones you hear about all the time, generally are pretty safe.
So Peter Dinklage character,
like this, obviously this next season's the last season, so who the fuck knows? Everyone could die. But like from the get go, anytime Peter Dinklage's character was in peril, I was like, they're not gonna fucking kill him off, and they never do.
And what's the little girl's name? Maisie.
Maisie Williams.
Yeah.
She. Yeah, I never thought she would die. And they have a moment where one of those characters looks like they get killed off, and you're like, oh shit, they fucking went there, and then the person comes back to life.
Spoilers, Jon Snow.
Spoilers, Jon Snow.
See, I didn't watch it. It's already spoiled for me.
He gets the shit stabbed out of him, and then the fucking Lord of Light brings him back, or some fucking thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
that show's really good, but like
that's what I hear, man. I hear it's real good.
So this is gonna maybe be controversial to some people.
Mm-hmm.
My issues with Game of Thrones kind of fall into the same issue I have with Walking Dead, where there's certain characters you're pretty sure are not gonna die, and then there's side characters that just will not get much development, and then they'll give them something to do, and then they get killed. And it's like, all right, like, so basically, as soon as the side character really starts to get shit to do, I know they're gonna die. Yeah. And that's my biggest issue with Walking Dead. By the way, though, Walking Dead's gotten a lot better this season.
Yeah, we talked about
that. The last 2 seasons were fucking doo-doo. And that actually, we were going to talk about spoilers, and I thought about this. Like, so, did you watch Walking Dead? You said you watched the first couple seasons.
Yeah, I watched the first couple seasons, then fell off.
So, at the beginning of the year, before the season, well, I guess like last summer, before the season even started, they were like, oh, it's Rick Grimes' final season. And it's like, well, okay, like, all right, cool, thanks for spoiling that before the season. Like, it's in your promotional material that this is Rick Grimes' final fucking ride, and he's gonna fucking ride off into the sunset and get eaten by walkers. And I remember the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life was an article about how they weren't actually killing Rick Grimes off, they were just writing him out of the show. And the top line was, so it turns out after all, Rick Grimes hasn't actually died. How did they write him into the show? Spoilers ahead. And I'm like, my dude, like, you just spoiled me.
Right,
He's
exactly.
not
There's
dead. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't need to read the rest of this article.
Okay. One, if I watch the show, I know what's going on. 2, if I don't watch the show, I'm definitely not going to watch the show now because I know what happens. Who cares?
Exactly.
Walking Dead is trash, but I like it. That's all I wanted to say about that.
Honestly, that's me with sitcoms. Like, they're trash, but...
Yeah. I've watched the entirety of How I Met Your Mother like 4 times, so...
Same.
Cool.
Welcome to the AA meeting for people who like How I Met Your Mother.
Hey, man, people can shit on that show all they want. I think that show's way
I think it's great.
I don't...
Until the last episode. The very last episode is the only one I have an absolute problem with.
The very last episode doesn't bother me. The last season I don't like, but the last episode itself... I mean, the pacing's scuffed.
Dude, it's just a whole... If you were just going to end up with Robin anyway... Again, spoilers.
So spoilers. The mom was dead the entire show. The only reason it doesn't bother me is because, like... I don't know. I just don't give a shit. It's a sitcom. I was like, all right, cool. They have a cool indie song at the end, and they get together. Cool. That's about what I would expect from a sitcom.
I just felt like they could have done something clever. They could have just let him be with the mom. That would been it'd be like a vanilla ending, but I'd be okay with that.
I feel like
but just to end up with Robin.
I feel like if that would have happened, people would have complained that it was too boring, though. I feel like that show is damned if you do, damned if you don't.
That's fair. That's honestly fair.
But I will say,
fandoms being what they are.
It's the only sitcom to ever make me tear up.
Really?
So the episode, spoilers, where Marshall's dad dies.
Yeah,
makes me tear up every time. And like, my dad's very much in my life and not dead, so like, I don't even know why it gets me that much. But just every time I'm like, God damn it, show.
Dude, it's heartfelt.
It is.
And Marshall's a really good character.
He's the best character on that show. Everyone always talks about how great Barney is, but like, no.
Barney's a dick. Like, he's not great. He's just funny. Marshall's great. Yeah. Like, legit, do you feel like you hang out with him, right?
Right, absolutely. Sorry, I'm just muting my phone.
No.
You can edit that shit out. Sorry.
Well, you let me keep going. You didn't say anything.
I mean,
you're pulling the curtain back, Colin.
Look, in the podcasting world, I like to consider myself kind of like Deadpool. I kind of show.
You're breaking the fourth wall.
I kind of show the audience like the real nitty gritty of it.
Oh.
Phones do go off. Your girlfriend does text you about how she might be picking up pizza, and I do in the back of my head go, "We had pizza yesterday. I don't need it again. I've been fat before. I don't want to go back."
Pizza 7 days a week.
You're not wrong. And it's going to be real bad if I end up working at this pizza place, because I'm going to get free pizza all the time. And I'm going to be fat again. doesn't matter how many.
You're keeping.
It doesn't matter how many the bench presses I do if I'm eating the pizza pies every week.
You just gotta work. That sounds like to me that you just gotta work out more.
I'll just smoke more oregano.
You just do what The Rock does and get you a mobile workout gym.
True.
You know,
I think most of my problems in life, if I could just boil it down to do more like The Rock does, I'd be fine.
What would The Rock do?
Not be short and white.
That's fair.
Definitely be shredded, and definitely make the most money out of every actor in the world.
Doing the same thing.
Doing the same shit.
Which is amazing. I can't hate him for it.
I know. The Rock's one of those people that's like, yeah, you just got to be The Rock and you're good.
Not
even The Rock at this point. He's just Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
The Rock, I don't smell what Dwayne The Rock Johnson's... Dwayne Johnson, sorry. Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson.
By the way... new Fast and the Furious movie looks fucking great.
Oh, I can't wait.
And I don't even think that movie is gonna have any spoilers because I think it's gonna be exactly what everyone expects it to be.
Exactly.
If there is a massive twist in that movie, I'll be very pleased though.
I'll be like, I will stand up. I will do the whole the Citizen Kane clap right there in the theater.
I was gonna clap, but I realized it was
I know, right? I was about to do the same thing. I did the same thing. You bringing out bad habits in me, Colin.
Speaking of the Fast and Furious franchise, one of the most profitable franchises of all time.
Really?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And led by people of color for the most part.
That's good.
You know what else has made a lot of fucking money and has people of color in it?
What's that?
Jordan Peele's new hit movie, Us.
Oh.
Which was pretty good.
Okay. All right.
I think
I see you. Oh, so you want to switch gears? Okay.
I jumped on that segue.
It was a good segue.
Right into traffic.
I was... You dodging rush hour style.
Absolutely. I think the only reason is like we're like 20 minutes in. I definitely think we're gonna have a lengthy discussion about this.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, we'll see.
I don't know.
You're betting 1,000 today.
Alternatively, we might totally agree, and then it'll just be us agreeing with each other.
You never know with these things.
But if that's the case, we'll go back to other spoilers. We'll go back to spoilers if we need
to. Okay. Well. All right, here's it. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Spoiler time, as if it hasn't already been spoiler time. But this is your chance now to leave. Please leave. Yes, ma'am. That means you. Take your child. Crying the whole time. I don't want to hear it. Go.
Okay. I see your fucking kid peeking his head in.
I know, right? Just get
that little bastard out of here.
Bye.
All right, the door's shut.
I think they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Couldn't fucking stand her anyway.
It looks like Shaquille took care of her. just sleeper hold.
A fucking chloroform cloth.
Yeah.
But all right, I'm gonna throw it out here right now. I'm gonna throw it out right now. I didn't like Us as much as everybody else is.
God damn it, I agree. So I do enjoy the movie. I'll just give you my Spark Notes opinion on it.
Okay.
If Get Out is a 9 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10, it's somewhere in there. I would give Us like a 7, which is still pretty good. I use an actual 10-point scale. I don't do this whole if it's below a 6, it's trash. Or do you agree?
Wholeheartedly.
Okay.
7 out of 10. Yes.
Cool. So I will say this. I think I have a weird, strong, like I smelled burnt toast. That's a stroke joke, by the way.
Thank you for pointing that out.
I figured some people might not get that reference.
Like he smells toast.
Yeah, sorry.
He should eat it.
If it's burnt. Anyways, I thought Us was better directed than Get Out. And I thought some of the performances were really, really great. I thought the writing kind of took a nosedive about 45 minutes in.
So here's where I am with that, and it's weird because I do agree with you wholeheartedly. I think my biggest problem is Winston Duke's character because he starts going from charming to annoying.
About 10 minutes into the movie.
About 10 minutes into
right
the
after I've got 5 on it stops playing, basically.
Well, one of the moments that really got me was when the clone family had them on the couch. And he's like, he just keeps repeating the same thing. As if Jordan Peele probably said something like, okay, ad lib here. And he could not deviate from the script at all.
Yep.
Like, I feel like Lupita Nyong'o's like dialogue in that scene where she's like, "Yo, shut up," was actual like her. That was her ad lib. It was real. Like, and that's my problem.
Yeah. So that's acting wise. I actually agree 100%. I mean, I think everyone knew Lupita Nyong'o was going to be like ridiculous because she's ridiculous in literally everything she's ever been in. I was actually excited for Winston Duke because I really liked him in Black Panther, and he seems like a really cool dude in real life. And this is, and honestly, some of my issues with him, I think probably if you look at it, go back to the writing of that character, because he's that character that like I really don't like in horror films that are trying to take themselves seriously, where there's like real serious shit going on, but there's one dude still cracking jokes. Yeah. That works for me in a movie like Cabin in the Woods, that's very like self-referential and like in on its own joke. But like for all intents and purposes, like I took it as Us was supposed to be pretty like serious for the most part. There's a lot of moments of comedy, don't get me wrong, but like he had a message with the movie. I don't know if you picked up on it.
I really didn't. So see, and here's where we disagree. Okay. Because I don't think of us as a message movie. I think of us as sort of a Stephen King, cheesy, just like really out there horror movie that he just wanted to make.
So, here's the thing.
Okay.
He said that he didn't want us to have like a message. Right. And I think that's because Us has way too many messages for its own good. We'll get into that later. Okay. We'll get into that later because
we'll circle back.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying though is I feel like Us at times is incredibly dark. Right. And like incredibly like, oh God.
Oh yeah.
But then like you've got Winston Duke, who literally the entire movie is like just cracking. Like he's like his leg is broken. And he's still cracking jokes. And that would be fine. But then you've got Tim Heidecker in the movie, the white guy. Yeah. Who is way funnier than Winston Duke. And is way funnier without having to say anything. And it's like, all right, like, it's kind of unfair to expect Winston Duke to be the comedic relief when you've got an actual comedian in the movie.
Okay, so for my clarification, Tim Heidecker.
Yeah.
Right?
The husband, the white husband.
Tim and Eric. Okay.
One of my favorites.
Somehow, yeah, he played more of a straight man in this than Winston Duke did.
He did, but his tethered was hilarious.
Yes.
Like really scary hilarious. And that, to me, that kind of comedy would work because he's still terrifying.
And it fits the character.
Yeah, no, literally my only character issue in the whole movie is Winston Duke. Yeah. And I feel really bad because I feel like I'm going like, Winston Duke's a fucking joke. No, it's not really. I don't think it's really all his fault. I think that character is just written way weaker than anyone else.
Let me tell you the first time I've met Winston Duke in media.
Okay.
You ever see the show Person of Interest?
Bits and pieces. The only reason I've seen any of that is because that's got the dude with the glasses. Yeah, he was on Lost, and he was like the best character on Lost. One of the best. And so I watched a few episodes for him. Didn't really,
So it was one of my favorite shows for the time. Cool. It was like I don't know, Batman meets like that show where the guy gets a newspaper every day and it's like, oh, solve this problem.
The guy that plays Jesus is best friends with Bruce Wayne.
Pretty much.
But Bruce Wayne can't go out and do shit.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's like several villains throughout the seasons and whatnot. Well, one season this villain is like this like gangster crew or whatever. And there's this episode where they have one of the thugs like just locked up and they're just interrogating him the entire time. And the twist of that episode is it turns out this is actually the leader of the whole crew.
Okay.
And he's playing just chess game where he's like just as smart as like every other villain that we've seen and whatnot. And that's actually Winston Duke.
Okay.
Who played that. And I'm like, this guy, he's freaking great. And then he comes out in Black Panther and he's just even great.
One of the best
parts.
So,
I'm like, I know his acting isn't the problem. I just think.
I feel like Jordan Peele, that was the only character he couldn't really get like something really like concrete down with as far as like what that character's arc was going to be. Yeah. And they were just trying to figure it out on set. Yeah. And I don't feel like it ever really happened.
And that comes to the biggest problem that I have with Us, and we're going to, I'm just throw this out here real quick, is that I think this came out too fast. I think this came out too fast after Us, and I have to get out, and I get it. You want to strike while the iron is hot. He's still a big name, but I feel like Jordan Peele is in the news so much that he could have waited another 2 years to iron this out.
Yeah.
And it could have been space is better.
So here's a thought I had, and it kind of ties into that. I do think he would probably benefit from taking more time with his scripts, because obviously Get Out was something he had brewing for a while. This, one of my other big complaints was the actual real substance of this movie felt like it should have been an episode of his Twilight Zone show. Yes. It felt like there was a lot of filler. There was a lot of stuff that really I didn't think added to the film. And that might sound nitpicky, but like the whole section of the movie where they're in the White family's house was very entertaining and like really cool. But like I didn't really feel like there was enough development there. No. To really... But I also view, like when I'm writing a script, I don't like a whole lot of filler. I don't like a whole lot of fluff. I would rather, like if I was hypothetically making a movie, I would rather make an 1.5-hour movie where every minute of that movie is like something.
Back to the Future.
Than a 2.5-hour movie that just drags. And I didn't feel like us dragged, but looking back on it now, I was like, there's a few sections of that movie that they could have tightened out.
Speaking of the scene in the White family's house, that whole scene, the biggest problem that it points out to me is the plot armor on our main characters. Right. Because the second that we get to them...
the kids can kill people all of a sudden. Just real good.
Out of nowhere. Just like... Yeah. Well, not even that, but the White family gets killed off like that. Like it ain't nothing. So... Very fast. Now, I know the reason why is probably because it ties into the story. There's some definite character reasons why.
That actually ties into what I feel is the... message of the movie.
Really?
Which is socioeconomical class disparity. I viewed the main family as being the middle class. I viewed the tethered as being the poor. And I viewed Tim Heidecker's family as being the rich. The rich people, according to this movie, are so up their own asses and out of it that they don't see what's coming. The tethered are forced to fight whatever, because they don't have anything. While the main family, the middle class, so the tethered, sorry, they always have to fight. They have to fight because they have to become more than they are because they don't have anything, because they've always been quashed. The middle class family would be Lupita Nyong'o's main family, and they're forced to fight because they're always in this middle ground, and that's kind of that's how I viewed it, and that's the message I got from it. Whether or not you would agree with that,
I didn't see it that way because I didn't think of it that way. Right. I took this movie at face value for a lot of this stuff.
So here's the other reason why I looked at it that way. Okay. They make a very pointed reference to an event in the 80s called Hands Across America. And that's a very big, that's one of the first things you see in the movie. Yeah. And it's one of the last things you see in the movie. And that was a demonstration against poverty and people that don't have a whole lot. Right. And they make a pointed effort to show that that's what the tethered are fucking doing for some reason at the end of the movie. So that's kind of where I was like, well, they make a point to show that this is some demonstration for the poor, and then the tethered are doing it at the end. So, again... might be a reach, might totally not be what he intended.
Well, you got some evidence there. You know what I mean? If it comes out, okay, hey guys, finally. And the thing I like about Jordan Peele is that he doesn't really talk about his movies.
No, he lets people figure their own thing out.
And that's great. So speaking on that, their message and everything, I find that the whole plot, the whole the basis of the clone thing, that's stupid. The whole thing is dumb.
So
dumb.
So this is ultimately my biggest issue with the writing in the movie, is they set up a lot of rules and guidelines that the tethered have to adhere to. And then they don't really follow those. And here's my thing. I would have been able to overlook that a lot more if it would have just stayed supernatural and kind of mysterious. But they kind of go the sci-fi route where they explain these are clones made by the government to control people on the surface, but then the government just kind of fucked off.
Yeah.
And it's like that. I have like that one explanation right there is ultimately my biggest issue with the movie, because it just doesn't make sense on a whole lot of levels.
Well, here's my second to add on to that.
Yeah.
So Lupita Nyong'o's clone, who now this is biggest spoilers of all. And if you haven't left yet, because I don't feel like we've been
everything we've set up.
spoiling.
Everything we've set up till now is moderately predictable.
Exactly.
On some level.
This right here,
this
you
is
better
the
leave.
Yeah.
So Lupita Nyong'o's character, who turns out is the actual clone that has been in the that should have been in the bunker, but switch places with a real who was in the bunker.
Right.
She said, oh, they thought they found out I was special, and so now I guess I'm the clone leader. And if they smart enough to find out you're special, why weren't they smart enough to get out? So there are no guards. There's nobody there.
Here's my biggest issue with that whole. Well, I got two big issues. Okay. One, pacing wise, it's just put literally right at the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, and this is gonna sound me being like, "Ooh, I'm fucking smart." I'm not. I picked up on that as being the plot twist like 45 minutes into the movie. Because there's a moment where you think real, but is actually the tethered version of Lupita Nyong'o kills one of the tethered, and the sun walks in on it, and she's like, and I was like, oh well, fuck, she's one of them. Yeah, I was like, I don't know how they're gonna pull that rabbit out, but like, my other biggest issue. Well, I got two issues. One, I don't feel like besides her making weird growling noises, there's enough real evidence towards her not. I mean, they make cutesy little like, oh yeah, I just don't talk much. Like, there's evidence pointing towards it. Yeah. But I don't feel like it really adds enough to the film, and there's enough character development with her as a character for it to really matter. It really doesn't. And on top of that, again, it's the last thing in the movie. Imagine if they would have revealed that, like, through the son's eyes before the real but you think is tethered one dies. And the son's like, oh shit, like, this person I grew up with is actually one of these fucking weird clones. Like, who do I help? And I think that would have been a more interesting, like, put the fate of those two in the son's hands. Yeah. And that's the thing that we've actually seen a lot with like clone media, where it's like, which one of me is the real one? Asks like a really valuable question or something. And you don't even have to take it there. Just let him know which one's which. And it's like, well, like, on the one hand, like, this version of my mom, who's not really my mom, got fucked over and like is kind of justified. But this one's my mom, And it's like, I think that would have been more powerful. Yeah. As a twist. And I only even more think that because the son by the end of the movie knows. Yeah. Like, it's obvious he knows. And then it just kind of ends. And it's like, there's no conflict that comes from the twist. Nothing. Yeah. It drops off the face of the earth. Then we get to see the hands cross America. Then I will say that was my other kind of view on the social message, though, was a lot of the movie, they're just kind of like, yo, we just got to get the hell out of here. But the mom keeps wanting to, like, kind of fight him. Yeah. For some reason. Like, she's freaked out at first, but then once the shit hits the fan, she's like, I'm not leaving until they're dead, basically. She never says that, but, like, her actions. She keeps wanting to fight him. Right. And I think it's because at her as a tethered that then became a real person represents someone that was born into poverty and then makes it to the middle class. And will just do whatever they can to keep that life that they've built. Yeah. And that was my other kind of like moment where I was like, all right, that social class. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that almost just makes it worse. Because, like, if you would have revealed the twist way earlier in the movie, that would have made that struggle even more, like, because, it's like, she's a fucking weird monster thing, but that's her family. Yeah. And she wants to fight for it. So I think ultimately the making it sci-fi and not supernatural was the big one for me, because it just makes a lot of the things just not make sense. Yeah. And well, it to me it makes a point to where the more you think about it, the less effective it becomes. Right. And you don't want that. Right. Because walking out of the movie, I was like, oh, that was really good. There's a few things that, like, if I think about it, it'll probably start making sense. I'm sure I'll see Jordan Peele in an interview a month from now and it'll make sense. Every time I've thought about it, I've been like, no. Yep. It makes about as much, if not less sense than it did then. Yeah. So that's I really actually
No, and it's like you said, well directed.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie.
Beautifully shot.
In my opinion, I think the cinematography and the colors and everything are way better than Get Out.
Yes.
And I love Get Out. Like I said, Get Out's a solid 9 or 9.5 out of 10. But you could really tell he came into his own behind the camera as far as the, cinematography. And I don't know how much of the cinematography work was, but I feel like there was so much meticulous stuff in the background. Mm-hmm. Because like one of the things I noticed at the beginning, there's a movie from the 70s or 80s called I think it's called Chuds, and it's a movie about these monsters that come out of the sewers and attack people. Oh, and at the beginning of the movie, when it's showing the TV screen, there's a VHS of that like just right there, and I was like, interesting. Oh. After you just had the big old quote about all the tunnels not being used for anything, I was like, all right, so these things are gonna like come out of some tunnels or some shit maybe. Yeah. That wasn't enough for me to go like, this is what the movie's gonna be about.
Yeah, but no, that's an interesting thought to have in the back of your head.
I feel like that element of it, Jordan Peele is like really behind, like control behind the camera. Yeah. I'm not sure if he does all the cinematography or if he's got like someone that kind of like helps him out with that. Yeah, you could look that up. But I really feel like this movie was Jordan Peele coming into his own as a visual director.
So the cinematography was done by Mike Giolakis.
I don't know who that is, but he did a good job, Mike. It was a pretty movie. What else has he worked on?
Oh, get this. He's worked with directors such as David Robert Mitchell and M. Night Shyamalan.
I mean, say what you will about...
Man known for his twists.
Say what you will about M. Night, but his movies have looked good the last couple of years.
Honestly, the twist has been better too.
Did you see Glass?
I haven't seen Glass yet.
Man,
don't. I've heard all the bad things. I was so upset because I like Split.
I love Split and I love Unbreakable, and I liked The Visit. That weird fucking.
I did too.
I liked it. I was like, M. Night, you got your shit back together.
Thank you.
I guarantee what happened is they finally gave him a lot of money to work on Glass because Split made so much, and every time that man is given more than $20 to make a movie, it's terrible. But we're not talking about M. Night.
We're not talking about.
We're talking about Jordan, the man Jordan Peele. I will say, this makes me more apprehensive about his Twilight Zone series.
Really,
a little bit. But the only reason I'm not totally is because apparently it's all adaptations of stuff from the old series. Oh, so I don't know. I'm still very excited because I love the Twilight Zone. I do love Jordan Peele, but I'm like, I hope some of those shorts don't come off as half-baked as us did.
Man, I don't. So I don't think that will. Mostly because I think a shorter runtime will help him with that.
For sure.
It's way easier to keep like a 25-minute, 30-minute, tighter than a whole hour or 2 hour movie. Mm-hmm. I really think he needs to go the Edgar Wright route with his films. Because when Edgar Wright comes out with a film, it's quality, Yeah, and he pieces those out so far apart that you're waiting for it. It's anticipation.
I feel like that's Guillermo del Toro too.
Yeah,
who honestly, Edgar Wright and Guillermo del Toro are like my two favorite directors. So
but when Guillermo del Toro does things, the difference between that is I feel like it's always ridiculous.
But he makes it great.
He does. Well, Guillermo goes back and forth to me because he'll give you Pacific Rim. And then he'll give you Shape of Water. He'll give you...
I loved both.
Both are good.
The only movie he's made that I was kind of in was Crimson Peak.
Okay, so both are good, but one is capital A and one's lowercase. One's a meal, one's Doritos.
But that's why I think people like Guillermo and Edgar Wright work so well, is because they only make things they want to make.
That's true. That's fair.
And I think that's very important in the creative process. And what you said earlier about this movie feeling rushed... I feel like Jordan Peele felt like he had to put this out. I don't think he wanted to put it out right now. I think the timing is weird for him to put it out right now.
That's what I'm saying.
It feels like someone went, you're going to have this Twilight Zone series. You need to push up us. So you've got all of this press right at the the same time.
There we go. And that's my problem.
And I don't know. That might not be Jordan.
But it
can I call you Jordan? If you're listening right now, which I'm sure you are, this is in no way me smack talking you. I love you, baby boy. Please don't hate me. Please don't blackball me from Hollywood.
Don't let these get out.
Probably already happened.
It's okay. The Timewasters have a long running list of celebrities that we already have that hate us.
Oh really?
Yeah, Ice Cube,
Okay.
One of them.
Interesting.
I keep forgetting who the other ones are. I just remember Ice Cube. We talk about that. Angelina Jolie.
Who's going to be in an MCU movie, maybe?
Yeah, I've heard about that
Eternals.
too. Mm-hmm.
This isn't an MCU podcast today,
Isn't it? Well,
every podcast is an MCU podcast.
Exactly.
A little bit.
Every one of ours has slowly become an MCU podcast.
That's because Disney owns people. And that includes us.
That's just like fine print, copyrighted by Disney.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to bring up, actually. Rolling back around to Us.
Okay.
Because I feel like the title is a double entendre of Us and United States. Because
I've
if you
seen
remember,
that.
if you remember at the beginning of the movie, they ask, "Who are you people?" And Lupita Nyong'o goes, not tethered, goes, "We're Americans."
Yeah.
And I feel like that played into the whole, like, how a lot of the working class poor are just kind of, they're still Americans, but they're kind of put off to the fringe. I don't know. I'm holding by that message. No. Until Jordan Peele comes out and says, "Nah, dude, you're dumb."
Hey, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
That's you're a proper film scholar at that point. You have the evidence to back it up. I mean, you can wear the Kotz degree of film critique proudly.
I feel like if I told Kotz this theory, he'd be like, "No, that's dumb." And then he'd go into like what it actually is and be like, "Oh, you're right. That makes so much sense. Fuck." No.
I think you're actually spot on.
No.
It sounds smart.
Anyone from Radford University, just so you know, because apparently this is something to be proud of. I have aced every single one of my papers I've turned into Kotz, except for my final in one that I got a B+ on.
Really?
Where I was trying to explain that Get Out was a better movie than Diner.
Oh,
the characters were better in Get Out than Diner.
You should have done that because he loved him some Diner.
Well, he's white. I get it.
But no, okay.
I was gonna at some point make a joke about how I thought Tim Heidecker and Elizabeth Moss were underused in this movie, and I was gonna somehow tie that back into Jordan Peele's quote about how he didn't want to just make movies with white people because he's seen that, and I was gonna go, yeah, not enough white people in this movie, but I couldn't find a good segue for that, so I want to say that now.
So here,
I will stand by. I didn't think there was enough Tim Heidecker and Elizabeth Moss, especially that Elizabeth Moss tethered that was cutting her face up.
Yeah,
I thought she was the most terrifying one of all of them.
That was a good scene.
That was a great scene. That was the other moment I realized or theorized was like, this Lupita Nyong'o is probably a tethered because she gets Elizabeth Moss right up on her about to cut her and then like sniffs her and then goes like, not today.
Yeah,
and walks off. By the way, I feel really bad because a lot of these points were brought up in the, again, double toasted, review of the movie.
Oh, really?
Like some of these points that I've brought up as far as why I knew the twist was coming. And I'm like, man, I really hope Corey doesn't listen to this and go like, this motherfucker just copied everything I said and didn't even give me proper.
This is why I don't listen to the
annotation.
Reviews if I know we're going to talk about it on the show because I don't want that to, seem like it influenced us.
See, I need people to back me up before I say some stupid shit, so I feel like I'm justified. And if Corey Coleman and Martin Thomas say it, then I feel like I'm probably pretty good.
Okay, fair enough.
But no, I all those thoughts were thoughts I had within the first day or two of seeing it. So, yeah. But no, I did really like the movie. I feel like I'm being exceedingly negative about it. But I think some of those issues with the movie might not have been as apparent if I didn't walk in knowing it was a Jordan Peele movie. I feel like if this would have just been a random horror movie thrown in January and I would have gone and seen it, I would have been like, man, that was really good. But I think like everyone went into this movie expecting like, oh, Jordan Peele's going to fucking kill it. And he did in some ways. In some ways he did.
He made a legit movie. He did. This was directed well.
So this is one thing I want to say is I personally know this is a really good movie because I'm being so harsh on it.
Yeah.
If it was a movie that was just trash, I'd be like, it was dumb. If it was
and we've seen plenty of those. Netflix is full of them.
What was that? There was some movie last year where this white girl, her dad buys her a box or something and it's cursed and every time she fucks with it.
Like Truth or Dare or some shit?
It's one of those dumb Blumhouse movies. Which, Blumhouse, what are you doing? Like, you come out with these terrible horror movies and then you release, like, gold, like, once a year.
Yeah, but they're quantity over quality.
Their quality's been pretty good the last few years, though.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. But no, like, I feel like if this would have just been random schlocky horror movie 11 that came out in January, I would have been, like, real jazzed about it and, like, liked it a lot more. But because you had that, like, oh, this is the dude that directed Get Out. the best horror movie of the 2010s. It just set expectations way too high.
Yeah, and then you're gonna be looking. You're gonna look at his sophomore stuff,
right?
You know what I mean, real hard because you liked it. You liked his freshman movie.
Yeah,
you know
that happens with a lot of directors too.
It really does. And again,
I will say, back to my boy Edgar Wright.
Yeah,
one of the few to break that curse. I think Hot Fuzz is a better movie than Shaun of the Dead.
Really?
Yeah, I think Hot Fuzz is I love Shaun of the Dead, but I think Hot Fuzz is the best of that trilogy.
I'd have to go back and look at them, like really piece them. To see which one I like the best.
Scott Pilgrim's my favorite.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright. I love that movie.
I really like me some Shaun of the Dead, man. Like, I literally
like every single one of his movies.
No, they're all great.
Even Baby Driver, which people for some reason don't like, I really like.
People don't like Baby Driver?
A lot of people think it's like his worst movie.
Really?
And like you could maybe make the argument that it's not as good as the others, but when the others are so good, it's kind of unfair. I will say this. He did say he was thinking about doing a sequel to Baby Driver.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I'm not sure about all that.
It doesn't need a sequel.
Unless you, like...
change characters.
Unless. This is one of Colin's cinematic universe moments.
Here we go.
I'm not going to even do the whole setup. Just it's Baby Driver and John Wick. And Ryan Gosling from Drive. Just killing people.
The trio you never thought would come together.
Just 3 white dudes killing a bunch of guys. Fuck it. Put Denzel from The Equalizer in there, too.
Ooh, really?
It's like the A-Team.
I would rather Denzel
like the A-Team, but
from Man on Fire.
Yeah, you're right.
Just The Equalizer, but
good.
Yeah,
well, Equalizer's all right.
It is.
That could be like the A-Team of like really good fight choreography.
I think what you mean is the Expendables of excellent fight choreography.
The only thing I remember about the Expendables is that Jean-Claude Van Damme kicked a knife into Thor's brother. Do you remember that?
No.
It's the second or third one, and
I don't remember anything past the first one, and I barely remember
the second one. Jean-Claude Van Damme's. This is a weird tangent we've gone on, and by we I mean me. Jean-Claude Van Damme's the bad guy in the second Expendables. I almost said the second Equalizer. That would have been interesting. The second Expendables movie, and the like new young guy in the team that you know is definitely gonna die because none of the old guys are gonna die because they don't have any work outside of the Expendables.
Also, he literally says all the death lines you could ever say ever.
Well, of course. So, it's the new guy is Chris Hemsworth's younger brother, the one that's married to Miley Cyrus, and he's like the young hotshot sniper. And Jean-Claude Van Damme's team, like within like 5 minutes, like has him captured, and they're like, "Come down, or we're gonna kill your guy." So they all go down because they're all good boys. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, just to make a point, takes the world's largest knife out of his pocket, throws it into the air, and then just kicks it into Chris Hemsworth's brother's chest. And just kills their shit out of him by kicking a knife into his chest. And I was like, I didn't like the first Expendables.
Mm-hmm.
This one within 10 minutes is so much more extra than it needs to be. I kind of love it.
That's fair.
And I did. And then the third one was garbage. So,
yeah.
And even the second one's pretty garbage.
So I've seen both of them. I've not looked at the third one.
You're good.
Yeah.
It's the only additions are half of the cast isn't there, half the movie because they're captured, and it's a bunch of young people, including Ronda Rousey and Antonio Banderas.
Whatever happened to that all-female Expendables they were going to make?
The third Expendables didn't do very good, so they were like, all right, I don't know about this. It's like that did trash, and then the female Ghostbusters reboot did trash.
Man. Yeah. I
don't have a problem with these female reboots, like at all. Like I think they could be done really well.
Oh, I like Ocean's 8.
I haven't seen it.
That's all right. It's an Ocean's movie.
I like Aquafina. I'll go watch it for her.
Yeah.
Doing card tricks.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, like, pretty much now that I'm thinking about it, I think I like pretty much everyone that's in that reboot. I should go watch it. I think the problem, like, with the Ghostbusters reboot is it was just not written very well.
It wasn't written very well. It wasn't directed very well. It was a bad movie. It was really just a bad movie.
It was not good.
TBH. But no, back
to the important things.
I think we're almost out of time, Colin.
I don't know.
You took us through this whole universe. You want to talk about a tangent?
At the end of the day, all we need to remember is Us was pretty good.
Oh, right. Were we talking about Us? I feel like at some point we were talking about Us.
I feel like at the end of the day, Us was just about the cinematic universes we made along the way.
And isn't that what it's all about in the end? That's a lovable lesson.
In 2019, I feel like it is.
With so many universes coming out, yeah.
Everything's a universe.
And you joke, but I mean, Godzilla's getting his own universe.
I'm all for that, though. That's one of my most anticipated movies of the year.
Yeah.
We could do this for another hour.
Colin, You're mad. See, you didn't caught the bug now. You didn't caught the bug. This your first podcast, man.
I grew up on a little podcast called Let's Do This, which was known to go on for at least 4 or 5 hours.
I don't know. I don't think this will ever go back. If you want to send it to him, you can. I'm not going to.
I'm literally only making these connections because, like, believe it or not, I don't like most podcasts. Most podcasts are not very good.
I've got my favorites.
I like Double Toasted. I used to like the SourceFed podcast, which was the one on YouTube, but then SourceFed shut down. Rest in peace. It's pretty much a Double Toasted. And this is not me orally fellatiating Corey Coleman. This is just legitimately, they're the only people that do it and don't come off like really annoying like I do.
I don't think you haven't annoyed me, which is saying something.
Good. That's just because you're in the room.
No, honestly, I usually tell people on mic, be like, look, man, you gotta get one. Okay, look, I love RJ. RJ did good on the show, but RJ, we know RJ. RJ is one of our friends, part of production.
Lovely man.
He can be a little bit timid.
Yeah, no,
sure.
So I think RJ would probably tell you that.
Honestly, right? I would have to look at him and be like, hey, turn to the mic. Speak up a little bit, but I don't have to tell you that.
I don't shut the fuck up. That's what you're trying to say. Which is probably
the nicest way.
Which is probably great for you as a host because you don't have to work very hard.
I really don't. I haven't had to this entire. You've made it flow to like 55 minutes, which is great. We've had a good conversation.
Flowed like a river.
Hey, be water, my friend.
Yo, can we talk about Once Upon a Time? Hollywood.
For real, I saw that trailer. That dude
I'm pretty sure that's a hologram.
Have you seen his other movie?
No.
Because he's been Bruce Lee in other movies.
Well, and he was probably a good choice for that role.
He's great. No, he's honestly great.
No, that was the best thing about that trailer. Honestly.
Yeah.
I'm excited. That's gonna probably need a podcast about.
We can do it.
Anything Quentin Tarantino is gonna deserve something.
Fucking down.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You're tempting me. You're tempting me with going another hour, but we're not going to.
We could roll through some trailers.
Stop it.
Okay.
We can do that as an. Oh, Kyle, I'm gonna talk to you about this after the show, but I have to end the show.
Okay.
Because if I don't, then we're breaking a promise into you. It's like Kot says. I'm not gonna teach you more than you pay for. Okay.
So the Chit Chat show is turning into my dinner with Trey, the podcast.
You know what? Maybe.
That could be another segment where we just talk about bullshit for 5 hours.
Oh man, hey, look, okay, for real though, I wanted to bring it back to this real quick. Yeah, we both love Double Toasted. We love Spill. I love Spill from Spill days.
I started watching Spill when I was 14 years old.
Well, this one is for our love for Corey and Martin and co-host.
All of them. Everyone. At all.
Even, my favorite was the Rage Select, the Loading Bar.
I didn't listen to as much. I was primarily Let's Do This and the League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen.
Then this is something you'll get. Hey, Goatee. Come on in here.
Son of a bitch.
Goatee, come on. Hey, Goatee. You know what time it is. Strum them. Take them hooves. Strum it on the guitar. Because it's time to end the show. Colin, are you ready? Colin, are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
Colin's ready. Ghost is ready. Go.
I think I'm ready.
What's it got? Let's do this!
Look at those audio levels. Jesus Christ.
I have to go find that audio now to play under the music to play underneath it and everything. Oh my God.
You should.
It's gonna. All right, but no.
We're gonna get a copyright. We're gonna send this to Corey, and he's gonna sue our asses. He's gonna send it to Hollywood.com to sue us.
He's gonna destroy us. So, all right, people. Thank you for listening to another Chit Chat podcast. That was it. I'm done talking to Colin. He's drugged me back to to my high school days.
Thanks.
Oh my God.
That's gotta be a compliment.
Hey. Is there any place that people can find you on the interwebs?
Sebers, twitch.tv/Sebers. I'm going to have a nice little Twitch cam girl career going here soon. I've also got YouTube. I think it's just Sebers. I changed the names around because it was like Sebers. It's CEBBERS. I'm not gonna go into why the fuck that's what it is.
You got a schedule on your Twitch, you know, when the people can come see you play?
Generally Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but that's TBD until I get out of school because
awesome.
my schedule's all sorts of fucked. But I'm gonna be streaming a lot of World of Warcraft Classic, Apex Legends. Probably Halo when it comes out on PC, because that was my shit back in the day. But just a grab bag of random games. We've been playing Sekiro recently, so just a nice mishmash of all kinds of stuff.
And people, you can find the Timewasters on the Timewasters, twitch.tv/Timewasters. You know, we got the team stream on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. But, you know, hey, like I try to tell you, you don't know whenever we're going to come out. The only way you can know is you just ring that bell, okay? So you can get the notifications.
Smash that motherfucking like button.
Smash it. You ain't doing nothing else with your fingers, just sitting there atrophying. Come on now. And just like Colin, we out here playing Sekiro too. You know your boy was getting knocked out by Gyobu.
Which one is he?
The dude on the horse.
Oh, I killed the shit out of him. He took me three turns.
4. I'm up to my 4th right now.
I can beat Dark Souls in an hour and a half now.
Oh man!
So I'm really
Dark Souls.
I'm learned in these games. We should. Ooh, you know what would be fun to do a whatever the fuck my Twitch name is. I forgot what it is. Timewasters crossover. Play through every Dark Souls game.
Oh, actually, we're already doing it on YouTube, where we're currently going through Dark Souls 1.
Okay.
But
if you ever need a ringer,
yeah,
call your boy.
Let's go.
Yeah,
we'll do it. Be fine. I don't know. We'll work out the logistics somehow.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We're not gonna do it.
But hey, Production 1200 is also where you can find a boy and his partner.
Yeah.
Who is also into the films. So if you want more Colin, go there too.
I'm in there. I have a lot of different roles that I've made for myself.
You have. You've inserted.
Not official. I just kind of like I realized the door. They had to lock the door. I kind of just opened it. I put a little mustache on. I was like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, who are you? And I'm like, you know who it is, boy.
There's just an empty desk.
And everyone stared at me, and I went, you guys need an actor. And they were like, yeah, we do, actually, unfortunately. And I was like, all right, cool. It's me, your boy. And I sat down on the couch.
It's like there's an empty desk, and we just like, it's always been empty. Next thing you know, the next day we walk by, and you've already populated with pictures of your family. You got knickknacks. It's like, who the...
Yep.
I mean, he's making numbers, so why not, I guess. But check us out there. Both channels have Facebook pages, so if you want to talk to us on the on the off chances, off streams, off videos, we'll do it there.
There's some big plans coming up for Production 1200.
Oh yeah, we got some films coming out.
I actually got some interesting prospects that I need to bring up. Not necessarily films, but cool stuff.
We'll do that all. See, people, you never know what's gonna happen, and the only way you can know is if you follow us, like us on all the good stuff, and of course, go ahead and listen to this podcast. If you like this one, subscribe to the thing on the iTunes podcast. Leave us a rating so that we can be known, that you hear the foolishness, so that Corey and Martin can hear this foolishness and then tell us how awful we are. I love that.
Feedback is great.
It is great. It's how you learn.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's it.
Just keep it constructive.
We out.
We are out.
Peace until next Tuesday after next.
Morty, pack your shit. That's only gonna keep him down for a little bit, Morty. You f***ed with squirrels, Morty. We got a good 5 minutes before they're backing up on our ass, Morty. We have to pack up and move to a new reality, Morty. You know, I said we can only do that a couple of times. We're f***ed over here because of these damn squirrels, Morty.